The class of 76. Not 67! The class of 76 by the Exploring series.
The class of 76. For many, high school is a time of learning, discovery, transition, and change.
Happy Pride, y'all!
Friendships and relationships are forged and broken, memories are made, and a development occurs between youth and adulthood. In the SCP universe, these themes are present in the narrative of the class of 76, but they're placed under the veneer of anomalous activity. The class of 76 is a fairly loose narrative, and represents more of a general theme of nostalgia and days gone by, but there's plenty of unnerving and strange flavor to go with it. Let's start by looking at SCP-1833, which is actually titled The Class of 76. 1833 is a copy of the 1976 edition of a high school yearbook, with reflections of 76 on the cover.
We did cover that one in the last video. I was gonna say in the last video, but it's in the last stream too, so we did cover this one last time as well. I think I went into the article like completely, as far as I could find, but I might have missed a couple things.
We can see a page from the yearbook and the prelude to the Remembrance series of tales, which we'll cover soon. The page seems to be a fairly standard display of some of the graduating class, although it seems some pictures are missing, and some of the students' quotes are a little odd. Statements such as, "What a wonderful year. Too bad that idiot had to spoil it."
Oh, I'm in the way for that one.
"I hope that one day blank gets cancer." Hint at something rather unfortunate occurring in 1976 at the high school. The page really gets strange, however, at the bottom, with one girl's picture missing her nose and eyes, and another with what looks like only 2 scratches down his face. Back at SCP...
I think he's missing the fact that some of these other faces are not like... This is not a normal face either. It starts like a little around here. Because these still look really normal, like normal schoolbook pictures. And here they start looking angry. I don't know about American classes, alright? I ain't no... Sorry. Pretty sure that you have to smile for your yearbook photo. And these are not smiling. He looks very angry, in fact. And this guy as well. Well, hey, hello. It is, not even 3 minutes in, and it's already time for Editing Rain Part 1. So the photo I found of this class in my previous video shows different people in their pictures. The names are the same, and their texts are the same, but the people are not the same as shown in this video. Not sure if that's important yet. We're going to find out together. Hold on to your shoelaces. Or if you don't have shoelaces, hold on to your Velcro. Or shoe zippers. Or your toes. I don't really judge. Whatever you want to do. But then here, they also don't look really normal. These also don't look really normal.
Only 2 scratches down his face. Back at SCP-1833, anyone that reads that copy of the yearbook, if they have graduated from high school, will perceive it as their own high school's yearbook. It will contain messages from people who they associated with during high school. And initially, these messages will be highly positive and encouraging. After reading through 10 pages of the book, however, the messages will become more negative, recounting events from the subject's high school years that they are embarrassed or remorseful about. Further messages will discuss events past high school and begin to make personal attacks against the reader. Pictures in the book at this point will feature heavily deformed people. After 20 to 30 pages, the reader will find themselves in pictures depicting embarrassing events from their high school years.
Oh, right.
But these will continue to progress into disturbing scenarios of the reader committing crimes and being mutilated.
I forgot about that.
Well, it's certainly odd, obviously, since it's an SCP, but by itself it's not particularly special. There are a handful of other SCPs linked from within 1833, however, that also deal with the class of 76. 1833 mentions a marching band seen in the background of a photo, linking to SCP-332. We learn right away that SCP-332 is the entire class of 1976 Kirk Lawnwood High School Marching Band,
Wait,
consisting
it's the
of 30
entire
humanoids
class?
wearing band uniforms.
I thought it was just the marching band of like the entire school, not like the whole class. I thought the marching band was not like just this. I didn't think it was the same, like actual same class, like everybody. But it does explain why there's 30 of them, I suppose.
The name Syncope Symphony has been engraved into each of their instruments, a name we'll hear more of later, and one you might recognize as making a brief appearance in SCP-3935. Syncope is another term for fainting or loss of consciousness. Members of SCP-332 stood in the same place on the former Kirk Lawnwood High School football field for over 30 years, without suffering from hunger, pain, or exposure to the elements. Occasionally, some of them will be seen struggling with an unseen force momentarily before returning to their normal state. Once every 48 hours, SCP-332 will disappear, reappearing at some other population center, such as a major tourist attraction, or even facilities that regularly host marching bands. SCP-332 will proceed to march around the perimeter of the area for 15 to 45 minutes, followed by playing an arrangement of music. Anyone that hears the music will be compelled to find an instrument and join 332, playing music until they pass out. Those that can't find an instrument within 10 minutes will join regardless, miming an instrument and mimicking the sound with their mouths. Those that pass...
Just imagine you want to pick up the drums and you're like, bum, 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 bada, 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 bada. But I thought this SCP was a lot more harmless. I thought they were just a marching band that came to life like every week, I believe. I thought I read, or like every 2 weeks for their home football matches or something like that. I thought they only marched to like their own football stadium as well. So this is new information to me. I didn't know about this. I didn't read their article either. I really thought they were just like contained within their own perimeter of the like the football stadium, and they just kind of go back to their conversation after and just like be in like a not really like a conversation. They appeared as if in conversation, but they were frozen. As far as I remember the article. Maybe I have to look at the article after all. So I did exactly that. I went back into the article about SCP-332, and I wasn't wrong. As it turns out, in the article, it doesn't mention anything about their anomalous effect on other people in the main article at the very least. And yes, I said main article because I found a secondary article, which unfortunately also doesn't say anything about their effect on other people as far as I could find. It does state a couple of things that might hint at their anomalous effect in the first article, such as SCP-332 is to be accompanied at all times by an armed escort who are to play ambient noise recordings at high volumes next to SCP-332. Ambient noise is to be plausible for the surroundings. Typical soundscapes include construction, weather, or traffic. Now, I thought that was just to hide the fact that this band is playing, but it could also be to stop other people from hearing its anomalous effect. I don't know where the Exploring series got the information from that it is infectious to other people. I literally cannot find that. I'm sure it is just something I am missing. So if anybody knows, please help me out in the comments. Now for the second article is still from the official SCP Wiki dot, but it states something different as if it's written in the future from space. Meaning that years and years and years after we've all passed, this band's still playing. This band remains unchanged. And at the bottom of the article, it says that they're playing American Pie, a song about nostalgia for a time about 15 years before these kids were frozen. It had some ironic and fitting lines like the day the music died or something about a marching band. Also happens to be one of my favorite songs. So yeah, that's all for now. We'll figure it out together. Keep holding on to your toes, or whatever you're holding. I wasn't gonna, but maybe I gotta. Bling the air trumpet. Sucking air. Imagine seeing hundreds of people marching with the most of them just playing air. Yeah, exactly. I didn't know it had that effect either. But I didn't read the article. That's on me. I didn't read the article because I didn't think it important, and it would also save a little bit of surprise for this video, to be fair.
Pass out will likely be trampled by the others. For every 10 people that join 332, the area of 332's effect will grow by 300 meters, continuing to cause more and more people to join, unless everyone that has joined is either terminated or
terminated.
At this point, 332 will return to their prior location.
I thought they were safer than this.
SCP-332 was first activated in 1976 at the Kirklandwood High School, and the Foundation possesses a damaged videotape of the event. The school's marching band begins assembling on the field while someone records it through a window. A woman is heard mentioning that something is unusual about the band's uniforms, and another woman mentions Syncope Symphony, a band equipment supplier that she can't find any information on. The band begins to perform for an audience, who quickly exhibit signs of distress. The band begins activating as SCP-332 does, and a commotion starts in the room where the camera is located, causing the camera to fall to the ground. 7 minutes later, something picks up the camera and pans it around the room to show a number of bodies, and it shows the band still performing before shutting off. The Foundation came in soon afterwards to contain SCP-332. We still have a lot of questions, as we don't know what Syncope Symphony is, what caused the band to become anomalous, what killed the people filming the band, who picked up the camera, and who the mysterious person is in the band photo. Before we get into the story, however, let's look at some other SCPs connected to the class of 76.
Okay, let me take a moment to just digest this for a little bit, because I really thought the band was the most harmless thing of all of these. I really thought they were incredibly harmless. I really assumed that they didn't do anything. Genuinely assumed that they didn't do shit, except for just march. What did I get myself into? It's the murder band. It is the murder band. It's a very exponential. It's like an exponential murder band. Can you talk to the band members, or do you get sucked into the band too fast? I believe that the moment you hear them, you want to join the band. So, as the video stated, the moment you hear the band playing, you want to join the band. This is true. But also, you cannot talk to the members of the band. They are literally unresponsive. They will not be stirred. The SCP Foundation has allegedly tried almost everything, but the band cannot be stirred until they activate on their own. So, you immediately pick up an instrument that's around you and just join in, or you pretend to have an instrument. If we all played music together, we would be a murder band. Yeah, we would be a murder band. If some of my cronies ever got together and formed a band, I would really like you guys to call yourselves a murder band. Don't let anybody bully you into not doing that. I want you guys to call yourselves a murder band. Please, do it for me. Do it for Burb.
SCP-1423 is a Polaroid photograph from 1976, depicting several unidentified teenagers, and the words, "We've had a great year, haven't we?" written on the back in charcoal.
In charcoal?
Whenever someone holds 1423, they will begin to reminisce about the last summer vacation they had in high school over the next several weeks.
In high school?
Those that didn't attend high school, or didn't have a summer vacation, will instead reminisce about the last summer they experienced. Affected subjects will progress to actively...
Wait, but what if your summer sucked? What if your summer was, awful? What if your summer was fucking bullshit? What if you didn't like that summer? You start to reminisce about that? Oh, yeah, I love when I broke my toe. That was so good. And when nobody came to my birthday? Dude, I'll remember that forever. Sounds nice. It invents a good summer in your brain. Immersion broken. It invented the bodies in the water. No, the bodies in the water are not invented. Those are actually real bodies in the water. What they invent is the fact that you know them. Oh my god, I can smell the nasi goreng and it smells so good. I'm hungry. I would love that somebody just cooks for me for a while. I am so tired of having to cook. It's the nasi grapes. Ew. Rice grapes. What? That sounds disgusting.
Revisiting locations from their memories, as well as contacting others they contacted during that time. They will experience feelings of regret while revisiting, noting that they didn't experience as much as they could have. Attempts to recreate the experiences from their memories will result in immense dissatisfaction. Afterwards, they will become possessive of 1423 and begin to experience dreams of their idealized version of past vacations, which increase in clarity the longer they possess 1423.
I see.
After 3 to 5 months of this, however, their dreams will begin incorporating more and more elements not related to their original experience. 1423 was recovered from the home of a man who had been reported missing, but it was really simply obsessed with 1423. A higher dosage of amnestics was administered to the man after the Foundation discovered he had previously received amnestics in 1976, when witnessing the first activation of SCP-332. SCP-1423 is clearly tapping into many people's feelings.
Wait, so that guy was there in 76 as well?
Nostalgia and the bygone days of youth. And although many people long to recapture these moments, it's nothing but a fading dream. The words, "We've had a great year, haven't we?" appear on the back cover of the 1976 Kirk Lawnwood yearbook as well, along with, "Don't worry about waiting for the reunion. I'm sure we'll see each other soon enough.
Is this still about
Lots
the
of love
yearbook?
From all of your best friends."
It's still weird to me that they call themselves best friends when they were incredibly rude and, like, almost violent to the person reading the book in the book. So it's very hard to, like, really consider that these are best friends. It's a very, very nasty, like, almost abusive way to talk to the viewer, like calling themselves your best friends, like manipulative, gaslighting. You know, it's just like another layer of nasty added to it. Instead of like having actual happy memories, you know, and having actual people that are your best friends in there. You know, like if these people were actually kind and if they had formed relationships and if they did do like very cool things together, it would be a lot different. And it would be a lot more nostalgia baity than it is now. Like right now it feels very mean and dishonest and abusive. Which kind of adds just another layer of manipulation to this cognito hazard. If you don't do psychological terror with your best friends, are you truly a friend? But it's different when you're like going through it together. If you're going through it together, then sure, you know, that's what besties do. That's shared trauma. That's different. That's bonding. But, like, when you're inflicting that kind of trauma onto a person, you can't call yourself their best friend anymore, man. You can't do that. But that is what this is leaning towards, which is really, it feels very abusive. It feels very abusive.
This links us to SCP-2316.
We watched this one!
Cognito hazard that the Foundation is very careful
The
about
body's in the water!
The principal phrase of 2316 is, "You do not recognize the bodies in the water."
The body's in the water!
This phrase is repeated a number of times throughout the document, and a Foundation member accessing the document must regularly say into a microphone that they do not recognize the bodies in the water. The water in question is a lake, likely located somewhere in the United States, and the Foundation have fenced off and quarantined the entire lake, using personnel to patrol it that have no knowledge of 2316. Anyone that comes within 50 meters of the lake is considered lost.
Yeah. So, I had no knowledge about it being patrolled. I think that might be a side story. I had no knowledge of it being patrolled. I don't think that was in the article either.
The bodies in question are a number of human corpses
they're
floating in
swimming!
a small group, and are apparently unrecognizable. Those that view the corpses believe them to be human beings they recognize, typically from their childhood. This effect also extends to simply being aware of certain characteristics of 2316, thus the precautions. Affected individuals will feel compelled to go into the lake where they are lost.
Get in the water!
To date, none of them recovered. It's theorized that 2316 is not a number of individual entities, but is in fact a singular conscious, basically a hive mind functioning as one. On the surface, that's it for 2316, a rather odd cognito hazard that only poses a danger to to those that view the bodies or become aware of certain characteristics, causing them to enter the lake and never be seen again. There's more, however, as there are a number of footnotes spread across 2316
we found those!
that don't seem to be written by any Foundation member. The first one reads, "I know who they are. I know their names. Each and every one of them. Don't you?"
Is this mermaids? This is mermaids? They just lure you into the water, and I don't know what happens to you afterward. Like, either you become one of them, I suppose, or... like, either you add to the pile of bodies, because there's, like, 40 to 200 in there, or they, like, eat you. Is this mermaids? Is this mermaids? Do they have sharp teeth? And a tail?
The second reads, "They're lying. They know damn well who they are. The cognito hazard is real, but it's just their way of crying for help. Of letting people know who they are.
Yeah, it's true.
Who they were.
I know them. I've seen them."
The third reads, "How can you not recognize the bodies in the water?" The fourth reads, "They don't want to show you, but I will."
They didn't show their names.
Accessing some
They didn't
hidden
say
addendums
hard
reveals
cognito
further
hazard
information.
removed.
A dialogue between a doctor and a redacted individual, although the blacked out text actually reads, "You do not recognize the bodies in the water."
Yeah.
According to their conversation, the individual went into the lake because the bodies were of his friends, people they'd known their entire life. There was something wrong with their faces, though, like a person in a dream that you can't quite remember, and they were speaking into the individual's mind, asking for help. The individual insists that the Foundation knows all of the bodies' identities, but is trying to hide it. The individual then mentions Birchwood High School,
Birchwood?
and the text links to SCP-1833, the yearbook. Technically, 1833 doesn't specifically say it's the yearbook of Kirk Lawnwood High School,
Oh.
so it's possible that more than one...
Wait, that's true. It doesn't. It doesn't. I didn't realize that, but it actually doesn't. It's, like, alluded to, it's hinted to, but it doesn't say it outright.
high school was affected by anomalies in 1976. 1833 doesn't specifically say it's the yearbook of Kirk Lawnwood High School, so it's possible that more than one high school was affected by anomalies in 1976.
I forgot that it was about this.
The final piece of text in the article urges the reader to go to the lake and look into the eyes of the bodies there, as they are your friends and classmates. It says that in the fall of 1975, you and the others took a trip to the lake, the year we were supposed to graduate. You got away, but the others are still there, at the bottom of the lake, waiting to be reunited. They're waiting for you. Creepy, yes, but also potentially sad, and most of all, interesting. The Foundation insists that 2316 is nothing more than a mental anomaly that convinces people that their friends' bodies are in the lake, and they should join them. Some rogue individual or force, however, has infiltrated the Foundation's archives to insert their own perspective. Since we can really only view this situation through the lens of the SCP Foundation, it's difficult to say what exactly the truth is. The point remains, though, that this is another SCP that deals with memory, tying it together with the general themes of the class of 76, whether it's the Kirk Lawnwood High School or some other one. It's time, though, to put a narrative together about the class of 76, and that takes us to the Remembrance series of tales. You've already seen the yearbook page that starts the tale, but the first part takes the form of a journal written by a senior at the school named Lee. Lee collects coins, has plans to do something in engineering once he graduates, and notably is a member of the Kirk Lawnwood Marching Band. The next...
Isn't everybody a member of the marching band? Didn't he say that everybody was a member of the marching band? Like the entire class? Of course he would be. It's not very noticeable in that case.
Entry is mostly typical material, but the following one discusses a football game where the Kirk Lawnwood team massacred the opposition.
Massacred?
The coach apparently joked that the success was due to the team's new uniforms, which they bought from a cheaper place named Cinephone or something. Lee
Cinephone or
hopes that
something.
the marching band gets new uniforms as well. Why a company that apparently deals in musical instruments would also sell football uniforms is a bit of a mystery. Another journal entry shows Lee went to a new music store downtown named Syncope Symphony, calling it really excellent. He received a big discount for being a Kirk Lonwood student, and then says he plans on going back soon. He just has to close his eyes and follow the beat. This seems to suggest that the store itself is an anomaly. Further entries seem to show that Lee is developing some problems with his memory.
Wait, yeah, no. Because they have been alluding to that. They have been alluding to that earlier. When they couldn't find anything about that Syncope Symphony, brand, company. And they just were nowhere to be found. They were just kind of out of the blue. So yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense. Is it the Band of 87? Is that the Band of 87? I do believe that store is an anomaly, but I believe that, the moment he alluded to the fact that nobody could find anything about it, I was like, yeah, that thing, Syncope Symphony, SCP, I'm calling it.
He mentions hanging out with a girl named Cindy, and they decided to go to a movie theater, but he doesn't even remember what movie they saw, despite it presumably being only hours prior. The next entry starts by him saying that he just remembered something from the other day, that a lot of stuff in town was closing up, including the grocer and the barber. Despite this, the Syncope Symphony store was still open, although Lee refers to it as that Sunoco store.
Sunoco!
He says the store had different people working there. They were all really strange. One employee spent 2 hours mopping the same spot of floor, whistling the same 10-second tune over and over. This also reveals that Lee spent 2 hours inside of the store and yet can't remember the name of it.
Mopping the same piece of floor for 2 hours and singing the same song or whistling the same 10 seconds of a song for the same 2 hours? They definitely weren't watching that movie. They were not watching that movie. Homeboy had something else on his mind.
Another entry says that the marching band was given pills to take daily as part of their new training schedule.
Huh?
Lee's journal entries begin to grow even stranger, with
dopamine? Pills as part of their training schedule. Is it normal in the 70s? I mean, it is like the hippie and drugs here.
with him remarking that the band marches in solidarity, together unified with the miracle of sound, and that someone has to keep the beat to the world. He writes that the radio sounded really good today. The sound slithered through the holes in the fiber cloth, curling around the wooden frame, and emanating itself to him. They apparently listened to the radio for 3 days straight, and didn't even notice. Lee's final entry reads, "Before we met, I was a pitcher of water, sloshing around and holding all my notions in my skull. My flow was stagnant, and I couldn't walk with my fellows. We had to break the glass, let it fall to pieces, let it sink into the sides of our heads. Rattles around until all the pieces catch. I needed you to put it back together again, with the cracks showing. It comes in like a fountain now, and I know so much.
Huh?
I remembered how we used to sing."
That is oddly poetic, but also incredibly confusing. A pitcher of water. Trying to wrap my head around it for a little bit. Crack mention? This is getting good. Now, what kind of crack we talking here? What kind of crack we talking here? Could be a lot of things, and I don't want to know any of them. Yes, I know. Even less than I knew before.
A lot of references to memory and music.
Yeah.
And it seems that Lee and the rest of the marching band have been deeply affected by the anomalies of Syncope Symphony.
But wait, they didn't address the music box. Was it a music box? No, it wasn't a music box. It was like a music player. and it had two cylinders. One of them was like a positive cylinder, and the other one was a negative cylinder. I don't think he covered that one yet. Is that still coming in, do you think? Because that's also part of it. It's like a jukebox or something. It's a phonograph. A little older than a jukebox. And no, the video does not, unfortunately, cover it. It was a music player of some sorts. Editing Rain? Put it out the screen. Editing Rain! Jerk it a little.
The next part of the tale is a series of announcements sent out to the school. One of them reminds the students to donate to the fundraiser for extracurricular activities, despite Syncope being very generous with their donations. Another announcement mentions that a new lunch menu is being introduced, offered free to any student, in a program sponsored by Syncope. One reads, "Students, if you feel strong enough, please rest with our brothers. See how the formula all comes together to make one tablature." And another tells the students to stand with them for the pledge of symphonic allegiance.
Symphonic allegiance.
And sing your hearts out with style.
I actually like that.
The final two announcements read, "Some have said that it was the new system that caused them to part. Those of you who do are warned. The director will hear of anything we say. He's listening to all of us now, hearing the rhythm of the panting and the running crowds, the bells and the blackboards. It's harmony." And students are reminded that only band members are permitted off school premises. Any violators will deal with their own consequences. They have only damned themselves with their own actions. Clearly, Syncope Symphony have infiltrated the entire school, although to what end is still unclear. Musical references abound across the entire piece so far, and we know the marching band is among the most affected. We get a mention of the director, who seems to be running things. The next part of the tale is written from Lee's perspective, as he walks through the empty school. Apparently he was left behind, as everyone else had been taken out to play. Lee believed that Syncope would always have a place for his percussion, and it's clear that his existence revolves around music and rhythm. The school was reorganized into these 6 populations, and each was given their own positions in the school, whatever that entails. Lee says that he can feel Syncope in his sinews, and it's pushing him forward, apparently controlling him. He seems to be resisting it, though. He's punished by whatever force is behind Syncope, and his body is thrown to the ground, an icy bubble welling in his chest, pressing against him until he finally passes out. During that time, the Foundation apparently arrived on the scene, presumably after the first activation of SCP-332, and they find Lee. Amnestics are applied, but Lee is now struggling with the absence of the melody and tune he had grown accustomed to hearing. Syncope can still barely talk to him in his mind, but it's quickly fading. Lee begins crying, desperate to hear the tune again, but the amnestics are kicking in, and he's forgetting it all. Syncope leaves him with one final statement: "We won't forget you."
Oh.
The next interlude is written from one of Lee's friends' perspectives, about a road trip a group of them took.
Wait, that's so sinister. I wonder what the point is of this SCP. I am curious about Syncope now, though. I wonder if there's more to it. There has to be more to it. There has to be more to it. I'm just kind of wondering what the point is of this SCP. Like, what do they want with controlling people? Like, what is their goal? What's the goal? What is the goal? To just spread?
Before the anomalies really kicked in. They're driving on a flat stretch of empty road for what seems like ages, but the first house they come across, the driver, Rusty, speeds past.
Rusty?
He says that he has bad memories of the place, but the writer insists you can't have memories of things you've never seen. They say that Rusty has the nerve to not let anyone else drive, but then the writer can't remember if Lee ever drove or not. Apparently, they then left Rusty somewhere.
Huh?
And when they came back, he was
They
gone.
just left him.
This interlude ends by saying, "The car is longer now. I don't know how, but I do. The lights in my teeth are getting brighter, and the eyes of my light are brighter.
Huh?
I'm sharp."
I'm sharp?
The final part of the tale is once again from Lee's perspective.
I'm sharp? The car is getting longer just kind of made me think that he stepped into a different car, but then the lights in my teeth were getting bright. I was like, oh, did he become the car? Like, what's happening? What is happening to his brain? I'm sharp? I wish I was sharp. He transforms into the car, but the car's not sharp. Also, what are these tables? Does that chair only have 2 legs? Oh wait, they're attached. The chair is attached to the table? Well, that must be so uncomfortable. A lot of SCPs don't have any goal, they're just a force of nature. So the most of them that I have covered, that seem to be cognito hazards, do have a specific goal. Like any goal at all. Some goals are to spread, sometimes it's to eat, sometimes it's something different. It's always like, there is an end game to it. As far as I have covered them, at least. Like, there are some dumb SCPs that don't really have a goal, that are simply anomalous. Because they're anomalous, and that just kind of happens. Like, the toaster. The toaster is just anomalous for the sake of being anomalous. Because the toaster doesn't think. It's just there. With the cognito hazard ones, it usually is something more intelligent at play. So I'm wondering if they have an end goal and what it is. If there is none, then there is none, obviously. But, like, I'm wondering if there is a point. If there is something that it's trying to do, and if it's just spread and grow, then I understand that. But, like, it hasn't really explained any of that just yet. And if there is nothing, then there's nothing. Maybe never be forgotten. Maybe that is the thing. Maybe it's to be remembered. Let's go on.
It seems some time has passed from the culminating events at the high school. Lee now has his own home, and he dropped out of college, saying that the environment was just too hostile. He has a job at a bank, entering data, and he can barely pay his bills. Checking his mail, he finds a red envelope with no return address, and is apprehensive about opening it.
Is it money?
Although he's not entirely sure why. Finally, he opens it, finding only a Polaroid photograph. It was a picture taken during their road trip in 1976, featuring him and 2 of his friends.
So it was actually
He says
him.
it wasn't a particularly exciting trip, but Kirk Lonwood had been one of the last times he had been happy. A thought interjects in his mind that he should have
so he
stayed
thinks.
home with them. He finds a message on the back, reading, "We've had a great year, haven't we? Hope to see you again soon. Love, Cindy." Clearly, Lee is holding SCP-1423, which we can now say is a photo of Lee and his friends.
So that's Lee. And then the girl is probably Cindy. But the fact that he said, like, he can remember that high school is the last time that he was happy. But that is only what he thinks. He looked at the photo before he thought that. He looked at this photo before he thought that. This just proves that he didn't remember. That's probably not even the last time he was happy. That's just what the SCP is telling him. That's just what the SCP is telling him. Sinister. Sinister. I do believe that maybe it's simply to not be forgotten. Maybe you're right about not being forgotten.
As expected, Lee begins to have dreams of that road trip, his last summer vacation in high school.
I forgot what
The
this was
next
about.
day, he continues to reminisce and think about that trip, wondering where they had actually gone. Although he originally planned to toss the Polaroid, he later decided to keep it, just in case. He believes that his entire senior year was a blur, keeping in mind that his memories had been erased. But that summer was a golden moment where nothing mattered and you could do what you want. He begins to bask in nostalgia, the effects of 1423 settling in. He reflects on Cindy and Band, and wondered where he had met Cindy. A memory comes rushing back to him, tied to one word.
Syncope.
Syncope. The rest of his memories begin piecing together as he
Syncope? Cindy? It all makes sense now. I'm sorry. Okay.
scrambles out of his bed, wondering how could he have forgotten syncope. A buzzing sound grows in his head as his skull throbs in pain, blood streaming down his nose. He remembers that syncope would remember him, even if he forgot. It ends with a note from syncope, saying that it knows the people it affects are unhappy, but they have all been playing roles towards a singular goal, a grand symphony.
There it is! There it is! There it is! This the goal! There it is! The end goal! The end game! The grand symphony. There it is. I knew there had to be one! I knew there had to be one!
The epilogue to the tale is another picture of 4 individuals with distorted faces standing over someone sleeping in bed.
I wouldn't call this distorted anymore. I would call this mangled, removed forcibly. This is an insane picture, actually.
The caption reads, "We aren't going to forget you." The overall narrative of the class of 76 is loose, and you shouldn't expect a specific explanation for all of these SCPs and events. It seems, though, that there's an anomalous organization, or force, called syncope, that is working to infect as many people as possible, specifically young people, in order to accomplish some sort of goal. Their existence is intrinsically tied to music and sound, but memory is also just as important. The tale is directly connected to the Marching Band SCP, the Polaroid SCP, and the Yearbook SCP, but that still leaves 2316. Well, on the surface, you might think that the class of 76 is isolated to a single school, the Kirk Lawnwood High School. 2316 shows that the effect is far wider in scope than that. The effects clearly come in different forms, but ultimately it's all tied together with memory. I mentioned earlier that syncope was referenced in SCP-3935, this thing a quiet madness made, written on a bag carried by a student no one recognized. This could have just been included as a nice reference, except that the events of SCP-3935 occurred in April of 1976. I'd be remiss if I didn't at least mention SCP-4833, the Syncope Symphony. 4833 is the designation for a group of organized reality benders that go by the name of Syncope Symphony, and have experimented on youth for decades as part of an unknown goal they refer to as a state of harmony.
So that might be the Great Symphony, the Grand Orchestra, or whatever they called it. I didn't know that they preyed on young people specifically. Because I know it says they reminisce about their high school years, but that could be all ages. But I didn't know they were targeting specifically younger students or people. I had imagined it would just be indiscriminate.
SCP-4833 is an interpretation of the Class of 76 canon, and it's long enough to warrant its own separate video.
Oh, okay.
As it is,
this video should... That is the other video I was considering, but then I realized that it's not the entire class of 76. Because it's a lot longer. It's a lot longer than this one. Got a nostalgia bait early on.
Should have shed enough light on the Class of 76 to pique your interest. While many of us likely weren't in high school in 1976, most of us can relate to the feelings of nostalgia and happy memories. And in the end, that's what Class of 76 represents. Not a story, but a feeling.
Was that it? Oh, it was. Oh. Students, we are sad to report that we have had to let some of the staff and students go. Although they were bravely carrying on in their duties, in the end there is room for only so many in the orchestra of life. Please, listen in silence as we commemorate those who have gone to another place. They hear of anything we say. All of us now, hearing the rhythm of the panting, running crowds, the bells, and the blackboards. The song. So there was an end goal. There was an end goal. I knew it. I knew there had to be one. I feel like we've missed an SCP though. Am I silly? Am I weird? This 814. We missed that one. We did not mention 814 at all. So it didn't cover everything. Well, yes and no. The video did cover all of the important articles about Class of 76. It didn't cover everything about Syncope Symphony, however, which is an entire rabbit hole on its own, and, as it also previously said, deserves its own video, which happens to be the other video I was considering, and then I realized that it's over an hour long, but yes, we'll be going into that another time, not right now. This video is just Class of 76. That said, Class of 76 also does go on. There are a lot more articles that link back to or refer back to Class of 76, Syncope Symphony, and one of the articles, either the yearbook or the lake. Something to keep in mind. It has Syncope on it. It has Syncope on it. This is part of it. Damn, there's so much! I feel like there is literally so much to discover about this specific SCP. It's almost overwhelming in a way. 1976. There is more? Dude. I am the lady of the lake. I'm there to give you a sword. You should definitely come and say hi. Come to the lake. Come to the lake. Come say hi. I'll get you a sword. It's really cool. Swords are cool. You like swords, right? Everybody likes swords. Everybody loves swords. I love swords. Men love swords. Women love swords. Non-binaries love swords. We love that shit. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come into the lake. I got a cool sword for you. Yeah, you gotta beware of my long Zweihande, because that is not a sword. That is not a sword. That's not the sword that you're getting at the very least, unless... And you just like it. All of you are just like throwing out your best pickup lines. Why can't you have this Riz IRL? Okay, you can do it with me. Apparently you can do it with me. Have this kind of Riz IRL. Go on. You can do the... You're married. Good job. We're doing piss. Not piss. SCP. We're absolutely not doing SCP. I'm watching my Yap Queen talk. This is part of it. This is part of the experience. Video series idea. Take all the couch footage of you chatting and post it as I could post it as a sleep aid. It would be more than 3 hours, I fear. It would be days of footage. I think that would be over 10 hours. YouTube would actually bonk me. I like my grapes like I like my women. Juicy. Mature and wrinkly. You like raisins? Purple. Greenish. Seedless. Easy to chew. Firm on the outside. Very small. In bunches. In bunches. Hire me as your chef. I pay you in I have a paper clip, 5 cents, and a chewing gum. You know what? I'll toss in a piece of string for you. I also got a button. That's your pay for next week. I often used to get comments on like my older videos where I speculate about the SCPs and then I completely forget what they said in the beginning. But in my videos, it's been like edited down to only be like the length of the video plus like some of my commentary, right? What they don't see is the fact that I yapped for an hour in between that. So I'll have forgotten everything that happened at the start of the video. It's very valid criticism. I should pay better attention if I want to learn about these things, but I just yap. I'm a yapper. Editing Rain is gonna hate this shit because I have this part is in this video for like 4 times now. But it's not my fault. Now you recognize a body in the water. I'm just kind of floating here. I'm fine. Don't you worry about me, actually. I'm completely alright. Goodbye. Oh, the current's changed. Oops. You know what? Maybe I'm not fine anymore. I don't know where I'm going, y'all. I don't know where I'm going anymore. Over here, I guess. I'll give you a sword if you save me. Come into the water. Get in the water. Get in the water. Or I'll raise the tide so high, all of Ithaca will die. Get in the water. Penelope, why? Scrambled eggs! Oh, I fucking love scrambled eggs. I wish someone would scramble my eggs. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll behave now. Oh my god, even my model disagrees. Girl! Did you go to a potion seller and ask for his strongest potion? I did. And he said I cannot handle his strongest potion. Editing Rain is a skeleton. She is living on like nothing more than a monster energy and the crumbs of my brownies. Please get a skeleton PNG and put your hair over it to present her. Oh my god, I should! But when I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. And I remember his words very clearly. He said, "Son, when you grow up, will you be the savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned?" Wow, sneezed so hard my model tweaked. I have a gigantic penis. I have a big schlong. My enormous Zweihande. My massive worm. My 3-meter, my leaning tower of Babylon. My megalodon. And Dreihande, yeah. The true SCP is my penis. It's true. SCP is exactly. Solid circumcised penis. That's what it stands for. SCP, solid circumcised penis. It's not my fault that I was just born like this. I was born with a massive, bulging, enormous penis. When I was born, my penis came first, followed by my balls. I can get away with this on Twitch. I cannot get away with that on YouTube. YouTube's gonna sound like beep, 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 beep. I was born with beep, beep. Who gave me a platform? Some bird just dropped you. You were raised by only your father. Was it me? Was I the bird? Did I drop you? That would explain. I would have dropped you in your head so hard.